Well, if it isn't the consequences of your own choices. The thing is, I feel like we all knew that we would inevitably get here. Because I remember I did a video about this where I was like, it seems like Jacob Zuma wants to play chicken with the Constitutional Court, kind of trying to see who's going to blink first. Now look. And again, all of this could have very easily been avoided, had he actually taken the time to go to the commission when he was expected to, right? And I think there was so much that was done around all of the reasons why he's not going to go, and this and that and this and that. And it's like, look at where you are now, and that's the thing. I think in all of this is the belief that like nothing was going to happen to him. And it's funny to me because I'm like, so much of time and energy was spent on being like, I want to be treated like everyone else. All of us are equal before the law. Like, I'm not afraid. If they say I must go to prison, then I'll go. Now when they tell you to go to prison, suddenly it's like, wait, hold on, guys, I'm old, I'm frail, and all of these different things. I'm like, yeah, you were old and frail when you were playing games with, the Zondo Commission and the Constitutional Court. I think it really is a shock to the system to be like, whoa, hang on, I don't have powers that can protect me from this. No, it's the argument that they all like to make, I think, when things are not going their way, to be like, no, but everybody must be treated fairly, we're all equal before the law. And like with most things, of course, so many people came out with a lot to say. Granted, the Zuma supporters were always going to be team their guy, so that's not really surprising, but the mental gymnastics that they've been doing have been amazing, right? So first is the whole like, but guys, he's so old, like, is this really what we want? Like, what does this really help you guys? It doesn't solve anything. I'm like, confusion. Really confused, because it's like, what is being said here, right? That, people can do whatever they want as long as they're old, or as long as they're people that we like, or unless we're doing these conspiracy theories to say, okay, this person has done this, person has done that. Because here's the thing that people need to be reminded of, is that this isn't him going to jail, not yet anyway, in terms of his, corruption charge and all of that. That's not what this is. This is simply, you were instructed to do something and you said no. There are consequences for that. Like, it honestly blows my mind that is really the reason why he went to jail, because they were like, you have to do this thing, and he said, no, I'm not doing that. And they're like, bet you really are. And now look, so there isn't some giant conspiracy here. It's like, your guy didn't do what he was supposed to, The other thing that's been very interesting in all of this, because when the judgment got handed down, I think, Julius Malema was on Twitter talking about, we thank you to the Constitutional Court for upholding whatever, but, strength, love and light to Jacob Zuma. And then this morning I see that it's very much like, the children of Jan van Riebeeck are happy. I'm like, I'm confused. A big part, or in a big chunk of what you're campaigning and what you've been about as the EFF when Jacob Zuma was president is how you want him to go to jail and all the wrong things that he has done, and Ray Tay, and more than that, how much of a constitutional delinquent he is. And here we are today, but suddenly it's like, no, we know. Which is it? Like, I get so confused because I'm like, what's the real truth here? Like, blows my mind. It honestly blows my mind. But it's still the same thing, because it's someone who's done something wrong. The law is the law, guys. Let's not do this. Like, wow. The other thing that, of course, happened, which happens a lot in this country, I've noticed, is that anytime something, is brewing, or things are looking a little tense, there's always economists that pop their head up and talk about how if this thing happens the way that it's meant to happen, the economy is going to fall apart. Why is it every single time, we're making strides and doing the right things in this country, where people have to go to jail, people have to go to court, we always have to be like, no guys, the economy won't survive. To me, it feels like just another way of of manipulating people and instilling a fear in people to be like, oh, you can't make any movements because of this fragile economy, and all of these people. I saw someone on Twitter say that they're like economic astrologists, because anytime anything happens, they all foresee, the problems that we're going to be dealing with, and yet here you are. The other thing also is, like, there are so many people who were very, very excited about the prospect of violence and war. I don't know what it is, but there are people who, it feels like they're jonesing for a war, and I'm like, I don't think you guys really get like what it's really about. But like, so many people were just threatening all sorts of things, that like, if he gets taken, this and this is gonna happen. I mean, it was their supporters who were saying that, yeah, if he goes to jail, like, the sun won't shine in the morning. Yeah, turns out, like, it's just been so strange. And this is the thing, right? Because I was having this conversation with someone to say, South Africans aren't particularly patriotic the way maybe you see, people in the States and things like that. We're not really patriotic in that sense. But people in this country have their faves when it comes to politicians, and they like hold firm and they support those politicians. And I think that's why we've been seeing all the dramatics and people falling all over themselves, because they're like, no, it's not supposed to happen this way. And I'm like, no violence, no. Like, here we still are. We woke up this morning and we went about our business. Because this is, again, a thing that happens. Because someone also was like, yeah, now he went to jailed without a trial. I'm like, look, here's the thing. It just feels fair that if you're going to want to talk about certain things, make sure that you actually know what it is that you're talking about. It's very clear why he's gone to jail, and I feel like everybody's making it oh, it's so unfair and he's being targeted. No, he's not. The last thing I will say, though, is that so many people have been talking about, like, oh yeah, he knows the secrets, and he's gonna tell us everything. He's been saying this since 2005. Since the rape case, he's been going on and on about, the things that he knows about people, what. At this point, I'm like, it's either you're gonna say it or you have nothing to say at all. Because my thing is, if it means you taking other people down with you, I'm okay with that. Like, it's not some scare tactic where it's like, yeah, I'm going to tell. And I feel like because he had been doing it for so long, he thought that if he employs the same tactics of like, yeah, I've got things to say, people would find a way to rescue him. But people still respect the judiciary in this country. And I think it's interesting that people think that it's just one-sided, that he's the one who has all of these secrets. But people have secrets about him too. People know things about him too, about his time in exile. So if everybody just wants to get things off of their chest, if they just want to openly just release, the things that are weighing heavy on them, I welcome it. Tell us everything. And the other thing that I really didn't like in all of this is when people have been like, oh yeah, but FW de Klerk and all of these people, they never got held accountable for, the things that they did. I'm like, fair, but who were the people in power who could have made sure that he was held accountable for these things? They didn't do it. So I'm like, you can't really sit there and make it sound like it's some conspiracy that, no, guys, how come these ones were let off the hook and he's not being left off the hook? First of all, different things. But when your boy had the power and had the position to actually do something about it, he didn't. So who are we really mad at in terms of that? Oh, my goodness. I feel like for the next while, this is what we're going to be talking about for a really long time. Already people are coming up with their predictions, like, it's going to be Shabir Sheikh about this whole thing, how his treatment is going to be like. But it's about to be interesting in this republic.